So there's 24 pitches on the Edgbaston square. All, like I say, all of them are first class, but mainly the reason we put the test match pitch right in the middle is because of TV cameras and the number of seats sold in the stadium to get maximum use of the stadium. So a test match against India will sell out, whereas maybe a county championship game will probably have less people in. So that's why it goes on the more of the outside, and there's no TV cameras for those games. Yeah, so we water a lot on the square just to keep the moisture in and keep the grass live, stop it cracking, keep the profile full of water as much as we can without it being a problem for people diving on it. It's a fine balance. So we're now leading up to a game on Thursday where it's dry, so we'll probably water today, but we'll also do it at the right times, because if we put cold water on, it'll drop the soil temperatures, which means the grass won't be growing as much as we want it to. But we'd also use the sheets on there to keep the grass warm overnight and help growth. So the square's cut at 12 mil. That's purely because that's where we found the height of the cut of the plant is really happy, and also we keep the pace in the square, stops it drying out in a big 4-day game when it's warm, but also the pace in the square is quick enough for the ball to run across. Anything higher, generally the square goes a bit slower. Outfield wise, we sort of play around with it a bit high. It's a cut. We roughly go about 12 mil, 11 mil. Firstly is presentation. We want it to look right, looks acceptable for first class cricket and any spectators that come in. Secondly, and probably most important, is ball speed. We want the ball speed to be quick, so shots for 4 go for 4. So it's a real trade-off because it's a sand-based outfield where you need to water it to keep it alive and keep it stable. If you keep it too alive and too well and it looks really good, the ball speed slows. So it's finding that balance between ball speed and playability and actual stability in the plant to keep the whole outfield moving nicely. So on the square is fertilised probably with a granular fertiliser 3 times a year. One is at the start of the season to give it a bit of a kick to get it going. One in the middle when we've got a bit of a free time, and then the other ones at the end to get us through winter. The rest of the time it's a liquid feed, and that's basically seaweed. Seaweed's a natural product. We can spray it down now and players can play on it straight away. It's not going to hurt anybody. And that's the other thing, is the amount of games we have and the timings to do it. We do use other little fertilisers as well, but again they're all liquids, and that just keeps everything nicely green and topped up and stability in the structure of the plant. The same goes for the outfield. The only difference is with the outfield is basically has a base feed at the start of the year and at the end of the year, and then we hit it probably 3 times with granular fertilisers at the right time, and again then it's all liquid fertilisers, and again plenty of seaweed. Through the season, only things to do on the square on pitches, new pitches, will be verticutting and cleaning out, so the plant's really clean. Regarding as well, we also seed up and top dress brand new pitches that have just been finished with and used, and hope to bring them back. Regarding the outfield has a full year programme. We try and pro-core probably at least once a month to keep the profile open. We uni-rake to keep the grass clean and stood up to get the stripes really strong. We also then verticut if needs be, hollow core twice a year to get rid of thatch and bring the debris and organic matter layer down, and then we sand once a year with 30 tonnes of sand, and also seed up twice a year with MM50 in probably 4 or 5 different directions. So for all our match day mowing on the square, we use a variety of machines. We use a C34E that has a scarifier reel in it and a rake reel in it, as well as a cylinder. That generally cuts crossways of the square in blocks. The blocks that you see with play, like the pitches, that's what we use the buffalo for. That generally fits the stripe nicely and gets us a nice cut. And then we also use the uplift at the end of match days or match day evenings to collect any debris from the square. And again, with the roller on the front of the uplift, it gives it a really strong stripe without overstressing the plant, which is really important at the end of a busy day's cricket. One of the big things we're looking to do here at Edgbaston over the next few years is bring battery power mowers more in play. I think it's really important for the future, sustainability. Fuel sources are getting more and more expensive. Also, now we're using the C34E. You can start to hear the amount of noise working conditions that the people are using the other machines in. But also it's sustainability. You know, fuel, like I say, fuel's very expensive. Working conditions are just different. Using the battery powered ones is a lot silent, a lot easier to use. Mechanical pressures on the machine are a lot less. The clip rate seems to be a lot more cleaner, and just everything we seem to use with battery seems to be the way forward. So at Edgbaston, that's one thing we're looking to potentially replace the whole of our range with battery powered mowers within hopefully next 5 years. We've always sort of put a 5-year plan in place. I do believe though that you should only replace them when the actual proper mowers are out there. So we brought the C34E in because it was a good like-for-like change. It was as good as any mower that was out there for its range. And again, with the uplift, we changed the uplift from using just normal petrol-driven rotaries. Now the uplift is a battery one. The difference in usage is a lot more powerful. Again, it's just where we are as an environment, the planet. We've got to make decisions that we need to make for the future, and I think it's the right way to go, to be looking into the right sources, you know, whether that be solar panels, whether that be the water on the outfield where we're recycling and maybe harvesting the water. All the things that we are looking to do are all things that are around now, but we've got to still push the boundaries for a bit further. So one of the biggest things in cricket that's a bit of a disparity between clubs is probably the budgets. Our budgets, people think you've just got an endless amount of money. Unfortunately, we haven't. Comparing us to Premier League football, some Premier League football clubs spend more on their undersoil heating at their training ground than we do in a budget for a season. It's just where we are. So we have to sort of cut our cloth accordingly. But one thing that makes you is a bit thrifty with your money and make sure you spend it in the right way, because you can have all the money in the world, but if you don't spend it right and get the right things in, everything fails. So we generally are very, we put our money in the right areas. We look where we're spending it. We've got a plan for all our capital expenditure budgets. I'm lucky at Edgbaston, I get fully supported on a lot of things. So it's really important to be knowledgeable about budgets. And I think being in charge of your own budget as a groundsman is a massive, important part of your job.